Good morning, Shivani. It's February 14th, 2016. We're doing this vlog on a Sunday! Yeah, I'm kinda late this week. Sorry about that. Hopefully this week goes a bit smoother, so that way I can actually stick to my every Wednesday or Thursday schedule that I agreed to originally. But hey, better late than never. I'm actually filming this just after I read your current blog, and I like the topic that you chose, just talking about your deepest fears, and I think that's a topic that I'm gonna steal for this video. First off, just a quick response. I'm very, very happy that I can be a part of kind of the solution to some of your fears. You know, you were mentioning that your mind kind of wanders into a dark place and that how thinking about me can kind of help with that. I'm really, really, really happy that I can be a part of that. But we can leave that for a discussion outside of these videos. Right now, let's focus on my fears. So let's see. I'm afraid of bees. I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of Simba biting my face. I'm afraid of poker getting illegalized in Canada. And really, that's about it. Well, kinda. Those are like the list of like superficial fears that I have. If you had to ask me what my biggest fear is right now, it would probably be losing all of the connections that I have right now. And that might sound the same as I don't want to be alone, and in some sense that it's the same thing, but in others it's not. Yes, getting into a place where I can't have fun with anyone, can't laugh with anyone, can't share good times with anyone, is a place that I never ever want to be. But the fear more comes from the value that I put on the connections that I have with the friends that I have right now, and how some of those connections are starting to disappear. Like, there have been plenty of people that I met at UBC that I haven't spoken to in over for a year. Not for a lack of trying, it's just that whenever you get into that mode where you text them, they don't respond back, you text them again, they still don't respond, and then you just assume, okay, they just don't want to remain in contact. And that's to be expected with people that you're kind of just acquainted with at UBC, but when it starts happening with people like Dan, for example, that can really get to me. Like, if all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, you, my mom, my dad, Catherine, Connor, Brian, Sarah, and just everyone that I hold highly in my life just refuse to communicate with me, that would just be the epitome of hell. Epitome. I think I said that right. I will only know until I watch this back on recording. And it's not just Dan. There are times when I'm with the family where we're just sitting eating dinner and there's just like no conversation going on, whereas, you know, a few years ago we'd sit down and everyone would just have a ton to say. And I'm not talking just with Brian, I'm talking about with, you know, Mom, Dad, Catherine, Connor, blah, 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 blah. And that's certainly not the case all the time. We still have plenty of time where we're very, very chatty and getting along great. But there is a part of me in the back of my mind that is very, very afraid of my family going from being my really good friends to my acquaintances, because I've held them as really good friends for a very long time, and to lose all those connections would just not be good. But I should be absolutely clear, just because I have these fears in the back of my mind does not mean that these are things that I worry about all the time. I am of the opinion that the more that you dwell on your fears, the more that they are likely to happen. So instead of dwelling on them, I try to take steps to make sure that they don't happen. Nothing extreme by any means, but just making sure that I don't disconnect from everyone else, so I give them the opportunity to disconnect from me as well, and then just allow that connection to be broken from both sides. And honestly, that's why I'm not all that concerned about what will happen between us. Because if anyone's guilty in terms of lack of communication between the two of us, I feel like it's been me more so than you. You definitely make more of an effort to talk on a regular basis. I recognize that effort, and it motivates me to put in the same amount of effort on my end. And as long as we're both doing that, neither of us are ever going to be alone. Shivani, I will see you on Wednesday.